Bitch, why am I... I fucking hate it. I don't want 6. I'm gonna take a sip on that one. I'm gonna take a sip on that one. Good thing about the vlog channel, y'all won't mind if I has a snack. Snacks today are the Doritos spicy sweet chili chips. These are the best Doritos. At me, fight me about it, I'll die on this hill. In my beverage here is cranberry ginger ale. My husband and I, as soon as these hit these shelves, we've been going through a liter a day. Not mad about it. What I am mad about is that I couldn't find the blackberry ginger ale. There was like a set that like cranberry, blackberry, and like boysenberry I think was third, but there were like 4 different ginger ale flavors. Unfortunately, regular ginger ale was in there as well, but like the blackberry and the cranberry, wish I could find that now, but whatever. Still love this shit. Okay, so a lot of y'all know I dropped out of college my freshman year. Honestly, it was the best decision of my life, worst experience of my life at the same time. At least it's up there, it's fucking up there. And I just wanted like, let's go ahead, go over the whole motherfucking experience for you guys so you can share in thinking that this whole thing was absolute bullshit. So, last couple weeks of first semester of my freshman year, I was so overwhelmingly depressed that I literally went up to one of my teachers and I was like, hey, I need help. I'm going to kill myself if I stay in school. I need help. And they suggested I approach COCOA, which was, that's Hawaiian for help. That was the University of Hawaii at Manoa Disability Unit. Also, I'm going to keep adding University of Hawaii at Manoa on this shit because I feel like they stole $10,000 from me, and you're gonna find out why. So I go down to COCOA, and we're gonna refer to the lady I speak to at COCOA at the disability unit as this bitch. I get to COCOA, I see this bitch, I sit down and talk with this bitch, and I tell her I'm going to kill myself if I continue with school this way. She knows at the very beginning, it is like the end of the first semester of school, like that last month. I tell her this right away. She says, in order for me to get help from the disability unit, I need to get diagnosed disabled by one of the therapists at the school. But like, keep in mind, she knew exactly why I wanted COCOA. She knew exactly what I was going to say to her later. I told her at the beginning, but she sent me to go get diagnosed with one of the therapists. The therapists were out for Christmas, so I couldn't speak to anyone. When I finally was able to speak to someone, I had to do 1 week of intake. After that meeting, I was determined to be eligible for therapy. Then starting the next week, I started my sessions with only being allowed 1 session a week, but I had to do 4 weeks before I could get the diagnosis. Session 4 happens. End of the session, doctor writes the letter, diagnosed disabled at that point. I immediately take the letter down, from there down to COCOA. I don't remember if I set up the meeting for that day or if she wasn't in that day and I was just set up the first one that was available with this bitch. Set up the meeting with this bitch, get there, tell her, diagnosed disabled, I will kill myself if I stay in school, I need help. She says, this fucking bitch tells me, the only thing we can do is have you take tests outside of normal class time. If that's not something you need, then there's nothing we can do to help you. First of all, let me just say, there's nothing we can do to help you. Easily on the bottom of the list of things you should ever say to someone that says they're gonna kill themselves. Very fucking bottom, for one. For two, you knew that this was why I needed help. You knew this is why I had approached you. you knew that this was the only capability that you had, was the test taking fucking thing, and still you made me go through that entire fucking process to get diagnosed disabled, just so I guess it literally feels like she just wanted the ego trip of being able to send me away, because she was very much aware of what I needed. She was very much aware of her capabilities as a disability office, and yet this bitch made me go through this whole fucking process. Fuck her. She's still not the worst one. She's still not the worst one. After that, I go to class the next day. I wake up the next day. I see my homework. My homework puts me in such a shitty state of mind. I can't even go to school. I call on my teachers. I tell them I'm not coming. And then I immediately call my boss and I say, I'm dropping out of school. I can work any day you need me to. And I go to the school to try and figure out who I need to talk to drop out. Add a fucking week of time. So at this point we're like January. Like we're January at the beginning of February, because it took a fucking month for me to be able to get the diagnosis. Add another week onto that, because no one at that fucking school knew who I was supposed to approach in order to actually drop out. I asked the teacher and they said, you have to go like see your major, the head of your major. You have to. So I went to see the head of my major. She said I have to go see my honors counselor. I went to see my honors counselor, and of course, it's adding time because these people have specific fucking office hours. I go to see the honors counselor. Honors counselor said I have to go to see the counselors at the department. I was studying philosophy. My major had been philosophy, so I was with the liberal arts department. So I had to go. So I went there. I got there, sat down, talked to a fucking guy, told him I will kill myself if I don't drop out of school. And frankly, motherfucker should have just let me go, but no, he's like, I'm not prepared to talk to this, so we're gonna send you to the head counselor because she is probably more qualified to talk about this. I'm gonna give you a heads up for this next part of the conversation that we're about to get into. She was in no way qualified to talk to me on this matter. Dude should have just let me go. Dude should have just let me go. That bitch should have just told me that they did not have the tools to help me at the beginning, and I would have an extra fucking $10,000. You know, I would have been able to eat, guys. I wasn't making a lot of money while I worked 2 jobs at one point in school, and I still just was not able to eat much food. You know how much food I could just eat if I had an extra 10 grand? Fucking hate it. Okay, now here's the doozy. Here's the fucking doozy. So now we're at the point where I've been sent to this head counselor. Counselor bitch is what we'll call her. I tell her, if I stay in school, I'm going to kill myself. I need to drop out. She asks why. So I tell her one of the major things that was really triggering for me in school was that so many assignments, so many projects were given with the assumption that I had a strong, loving family. And the assignment that I looked at that one morning that I was like, I'm gonna do my homework real quick and then head off to school, and then I just bailed on the whole day of school. It was a chapter in Spanish where the subject of the chapter was family, and the words that we were giving were loving, protective, caring, understanding, and I had a full fucking meltdown. I had a full breakdown. I had been doing in so many assignments actually, because I was actually writing I was writing the Queen of Thieves series at this point in time, frankly, truly keeping me alive. These books were literally keeping me alive at this point. I was writing these books, and so when I get assignments at the beginning that would ask for this, write about a time that you were doing something great with your family or friends and stuff like that, I was writing about these characters, and at first it was a little inside joke. Then I just started feeling pathetic, and then I just started feeling like there was something wrong with me, that my life was complete fuck up, and you can see how that would foster some really poor mental health situations. And this counselor ass bitch tells me, I mean, but you understand that all families and family situations are different and unique though. Bitch, why am I if that's the case, then why am I constantly being asked to interact with my family and with my history and with my past and with my life as if it shouldn't be different, as if it shouldn't be unique, as if it should be that picture perfect family? That's the problem. The problem is that I understand that things are different. The problem is that I am not being treated as if they should be. I'm being treated as if I am not ideal for society. And then she says the thing that haunts me since leaving school. She says, well, if you're going to be triggered by this, then it seems like you're going to be just triggered by everything, so I don't see why you think dropping out of school will help. Oh my god. I'm gonna take a sip on that one. I'm gonna take a sip on that one. Letting you know, as someone that was severely suicidal, this was essentially felt like she was telling me things are not going to get better. The thing that you're going to do that you know will keep you from killing yourself now, that's not going to help. You're just going to come right back to this situation. Things are always going to be terrible. So I don't know why you think that there's any escape from this suicide right now. I don't know why you keep trying to survive. You're not going to get to a point where this isn't going to end up happening. You're just wasting people's time. Then she tells me I should just stay in school and stay in the therapy. I try to explain to her, I find personally therapy to be very triggering. Especially at that time, I didn't have any friends, I didn't have any family, I had no one in my life. And so for a therapist to be literally the only person I was talking to in my life, I would just constantly be hearing in my head that I can't get people to stick around unless I pay them to, and that would send me into a very downward spiral, because yes, I could talk to a therapist about this or that in the session, but once I go home, I'm left with my thoughts. I'm left with my mental illness again. And so, like, it was just triggering to me, and I would just shut down. When we got to the point of therapy, like, even him just asking me to schedule another therapy session, after like we got through the mission of determining that I am like a disability level of depressed, after getting there and him just asking, like, what were we gonna do in therapy? That shut me down. We were just gonna talk, we were just going to like hear, like, just kind of go through my day-to-day life. That completely shut me down. And she starts telling me, her exact response to this was, I mean, a therapist isn't supposed to be your friend. A therapist is gonna be able to handle the situation better than your friend. Don't you think a therapist would handle these situations better than your friend? And I start crying at this point because I just feel so overwhelmed that she just cannot seem to understand what I'm trying to say. I hope it made sense. Like, therapy makes me feel more lonely because I don't have anyone else to turn to in like moments of struggle, except this one person that is exclusively there as a paying job. They don't care about me. They're not like friends. They're not family. They're not an actual part of my life. They are a paid contractor, and that made me feel very lonely. That made me feel very pathetic that I didn't have anything else. I didn't have a support system beyond this paid contractor. And she's just talking to me as if I want to go get drinks, or I want to go hang out with the therapist. And I just start crying because I tend to get very overwhelmed when I feel like I can't communicate myself to other people. And that's why I wrote my book, I Hear Colors, is because I couldn't communicate to people what I was feeling. I couldn't communicate to people why I attempted suicide at that point in my life. I couldn't communicate to people how I was feeling post that. And I was just feeling very overwhelmed in this moment because, like, she didn't seem to understand what I was saying at all, and she was talking down to me about like something that felt super irrelevant to anything I had said, and it was pissing me off, and I was so overwhelmed. And she had just told me that there's nothing I can do. I'm gonna end up killing myself anyway. So I was very overwhelmed at this point. So I just start crying, and this counselor ass bitch tells me, I know it's a very hard decision. No, bitch, you're not hearing me, and you just told me that there's nothing I can do to prevent myself from killing myself. I you're hurting me. You're hurting me. That's why I'm crying. It's not because this is a hard decision. You are hurting me. I still see flashbacks to that moment. Like anytime something goes wrong in my life, I hear her telling me that there wasn't a point. I hear her telling me that I'm going to be triggered by everything. I hear her essentially telling me that I'm not going to be able to function in society. So what's the point? So yeah, I cried. Yeah, but I eventually get her to sign the fucking documents I need. I leave, turn those in, turn in my ID, and I still had to pay $10,000 because I had missed the deadline to drop out and not pay for the semester by fucking days. By fucking days. I was so pissed. Because the Cocoa bitch should have known that she should have known her limitations, and she should have told me her limitations to begin with. B, the staff of the school should know who I'm supposed to talk to drop out. And C, this woman has traumatized me beyond belief. As well as, I feel like if you're a disabled student and the school tells you they can't make the school accessible to you, you should not have to pay for said semester of school that you dropped out of at the beginning of the fucking semester. Just saying. So yeah, that was me. That's the story of me dropping out of college. It was a fucking shitty ass experience. It was like I want to say I got out of the meeting with that teacher on Valentine's Day, and I was so sad. I was crying on Valentine's Day because that bitch ass counselor was such a fucking bitch ass, and it was a very horrible experience. But you know, definitely the right choice for me. I'm definitely so much better off than had I tried to force myself to stay in school because that's the societal expectation. Do I struggle these days with the fact that everyone still expects me to go back to school? Yeah, it's not in the cards for me. But there are also like so many amazing ways for me to learn anything that are much cheaper and much healthier for me than a fucking college. Ew, drink. Do you drink? Because I drink. I don't have enough liquor at this place to spike this stuff yet, but we'll get there. Thank you guys so much for listening. It's been a wild one. I hope you enjoy these story times as much as I enjoy like sharing the stories with you. If you liked it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as checking out my main channel, No Ordinary Scholar. Over there I do some fucking theories on books, music, movies, you name it. And if you also got some loose change in your pocket, check out my Patreon. If you subscribe for $5 a month, you get early access to my videos, you get the notes to my book streams that are over on the main channel, and you get these books here, the Queen of Thieves series that I was talking about earlier that you're such a major fan of. Don't worry, I am too. You get early access to a lot of stuff for these books, like the covers, chapters of the books, as well as you get the exclusive pre-release premieres of the books before they make it to any stores. If any of that sounds great, then go check out the links that are down below, and until next time, valedictions, friends.